What's good? You're listening to Tower Pod. I'm your host, Inspirational. Chapter 478 is out on Webtoons, Sunday, May 10th, 2020. This review is considered FastPass as of when I record this. So, if you're listening via podcast and you don't use coins for FastPass, stop listening to me right now and wait. I will be streaming on Twitch at 9 p.m. today. Let's watch the 4th episode of the anime together. We're in the crown game right now. It's pretty hype. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these reviews. Now, let's begin. These chapters, ever since we got to the Nest arc from around chapter 51 of season 3, has been straight fire every single week. The Wingbird died, White is back to his potentially former strength, the sniper uses her last bullet, Evan Cole goes crazy, Bomb continues to block Calivan's attacks. So much is going on, and I love it. The positions continue to show how important they are if their roles are used so well in these high-scale battles. We find out exactly where LaFave was hiding, and she was sandwiched inside of a broken part of a warship. And the way she made it look believable is to slightly and slowly move the debris around her and the broken warship with Shinsa. Now, I knew she was hiding in some broken part. I didn't know she was literally floating in a hunk of metal and moving everything around her to make it look more believable. That's pretty smart of her, actually. And although Evan Cole doesn't really have that great of a usage or register for this flow, we have seen Evan Cole use lighthouses in conjunction with regulars like Kun in the cage when she asked Kun to line up the shot to take out Kuhelum in the with the ancient spear. Another instance of that is played out this battle when Kun uses his lighthouse through Evan Cole, obviously, to connect to the teleporter. This teleporter looks awfully similar to a gate generator on Calivan's warship back in chapter 403 or season 2 episode 323. The gas generator was on its side, but they both served the same purpose, to transport people or objects. I think the piece of Karka in the last station was his form of an observer / lighthouse, but in this case we use Kun's lighthouse. It seems kinda weird that there's no form of protection against hacking by non-Jihad authorized lighthouses for a Jihad warship. That seems odd. It's funny that Kun straight up just tells Evan Cole that she might have to go back to hell and back. But we see what he means when Evan Cole literally can't kill the sniper yet until LaFave fires a shot at Evan Cole again. Although HOTS wasn't too helpful here, Shibusu proved his worth, which is great to see him contributing a lot, since a scout would be able to notice flows of Shinso a little better than Evan Cole. But again, this is a high ranker / ranker battlefield. It seems off that Shibusu would have this kind of reading power this early in Shibusu's journey. But I guess this is what SIU does to make his regulars relevant in the battle. I don't really understand Ken Hong's role in flying next to Kun's ship, but to be more fodder for the war, to feel a little more real. I think it would be interesting to see Ken Hong grow from her father's death, but I really don't think we will see much of her after this battle, since there are more prominent and cooler looking characters from Yama's group that can share the spotlight better. So I think it would be better if Ken Hong actually dies here. Since I'm ahead of the blog post in these reviews now, I'm going to refer back to a blog post that seems a little more relevant now that we have LaFave back in action. In the blog post for season 3 episode 57, SIU actually goes into the explanation of LaFave's weapon, the sniper. He talks about how her weapon was actually modified to snipe, and that if LaFave took out the buttstock and the long barrel, that she can actually use it like an assault rifle for much faster movement. We also learn that LaFave isn't a scout, but that all snipers use an observer attached to the scope of the weapon as a weapon assist. It's really cool to hear SIU talk about what makes her so unique and the limitations that she gets for having such an overpowered ability. In this chapter, we have Evan Cole seem to know of people that have contracts with administrators, and technically everyone has a contract with an admin of each floor that they progress to even use Shinso on that floor. So this extension of gaining more power via administrator is pretty plausible. We even get Bomb form a contract with the second floor admin, and the administrator claims that it's shackles to someone like Bomb. Hopefully, if not in this battle, maybe in the future ones, we'll see more rankers that have unique contracts. Maybe each admin per floor can give out a unique contract to one regular or one ranker, or maybe many on that floor or throughout the tower. This adds a pretty interesting layer of world building in terms of power that is available to be learned by inhabitants of the tower. Anyways, it's cool to see the inner monologues of both Evan Cole and LaFave as they both make assumptions about each other, and sadly, LaFave's assumptions were wrong in all regards, while Evan Cole was pretty spot on. Evan Cole is charging in with no fire and in a straight line because she's relying on Kun's plan, Honki's ability, and Shibusa's observers to bait LeFave into shooting so that the bullet can actually get captured and used by Kun. It's great to see Kun actually follow through with his word at the end of last chapter to end the Wingbird quick and easy, and this is a perfect way to tie these two separate battles together. We don't know if LeFave is dead yet, but she got hit with Evanco's fire, so there's really no way of knowing. The Wingbird gets one shot with Doom's and Paul's setup to draw, although they didn't mean to do it, but because Doom and Paul fought so well, they drew Dokoko into the anima together, so it's literally to kill two birds with one stone / bullet. I really thought the bullet might be used on Caliban, but this sets up narrative way better to have White back in action, and Kun can finally stop using the Flames ability before he overheats and becomes unable to battle or even think. Prime White, or what we're assuming is Prime White, looks so fresh. We have seen the red spots and red motif sprinkled with White's appearance, with the first time we see this red near his eyes back in chapter 400 or season 2 episode 320, and we saw his red spindle move when he fought Caliban for the first time in Doan's Wall in season 3, but it looks like White will finally get his promise that he will never lose to Caliban if he was at his prime. White with his red crown floating above and his regal stature looks so good. I can't wait for him to actually stand a chance against Caliban so that Bomb can finally get the second wall destroyed and we can move forward and closer to Yas. I really like how tactical Caliban has become ever since he's truly acknowledged Bomb, and Caliban decides to test this new device that Bomb has plopped out, and it looks like his test actually paid off because Caliban recognizes that Bomb can't keep up and Caliban gets interrupted, sadly. I hope that Caliban can immediately tell now how much of a threat White is just by his presence and doesn't take White lightly to show how much of a difference Caliban was to White in Doan's Wall. I loved Cha's little look back to Doan to get her approval while helping Karka. It was kind of cute. And we see the return of Yolker, who was first tasked to eliminate Yu Hasong back in chapter 394 or season 2 episode 314. Yolker is a high ranker who controls some purple fire / Shinso, and he has pretty interesting tattoos, which were covered up here since he decided to wear full sleeves, but his red eyes, when we first saw him, seemed like a pretty good threat, or he could at least block the first level of Evan Cole's attacks. So it seems that we might either get to see more of Cha's Kamehameha, or see actual techniques of why Cha is actually so feared by Jihad's army back in the past. That's all for the chapter. Make sure to heart the chapter on Webtoons every time you finish reading, and comment to be a part of the community. If you get a chance, subscribe to get access to these reviews every week. My social media can be found by searching Inspirational on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Shout out to my designer. You can find his work on Instagram at JadenV_photography. Shout out to my editor. You can find him on Twitter at YoungObesity. Shout out to Audios on Reddit, the translations of SAU's blog post. This has been Tower Pod. See you all next time.